Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Today we have Marlene, and she will talk with us about menopause. Love your body and love your life. Hello, Marlene. Welcome.
Hello, Roxandra. Thanks so much for having me on here. Great to see you.
Same. We are very excited to have you part as a speaker for 7 Days Business Revolution. And today I
Yes.
really want to find out more about what you do. And if you can just talk with us a bit your journey into the health coaching, the menopause, and everything that you do, because you go really deep and you're changing lives. So please tell us more about that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist and a menopause and longevity coach. And I've been a holistic nutritionist for really over like 12 years. But the reason I started to focus in on menopause was because a few years back, I started to go through perimenopause. And I just found some of it was quite unbearable, and there was not information readily available to help me. And the dramatic thing that took me into that was that I found I was having these terrible heart palpitations and skin rashes and a hot flash that went on for seemingly like 3 months, and I wound up going into the ER. And I don't even really go to the doctor unless it's like an emergency. But I found myself in the ER and I was so nervous. I thought, oh my God, something, you know, it could be one of those things. You go in there, you get sick, you have an infection. That's what I thought was happening. And I kept telling everybody who saw me, I had x-rays, I did all the tests, and I kept saying, well, I'm in perimenopause, so that might be an effect. That might be part of the problem. Nobody had any idea how to connect the dots. So obviously I didn't die that day, but I did have one moment of thinking, oh my God, if I do die today, I'm going to die with all these dreams unlived inside me. So that was part of like a fear that woke me up to
Right.
step it up. And the other thing was like, oh my God, I'm the expert. I'm a professional and I don't have the answers. And almost every woman I know in my, age group is going through this. And I thought, there's no way. I have to bring the real information to people. So I did a deep dive, and the all the things that were happening to me were all typical of perimenopause, but nobody knows this stuff. So I was like, that's it. I have to go deep into that and help all the women really feel empowered with the knowledge and the idea that they can be stepping into their most powerful time in their life versus like a downward spiral, which is kind of historically how they've framed perimenopause for us. Oh, you're past the childbearing years or you're over a certain age. Everything just kind of goes downhill. Just accept it. Your hips are going to hurt. Just accept it. You're going to have brain fog. And I was like, no, we don't have to accept it. It's just a matter of enlightening ourselves.
Right. Oh, wow. You've been through a lot, and I can definitely say that so many women can relate. And I don't think the word talks so much about this subject. So you mentioned a few symptoms. Can you just go a bit even deeper with that? What sort of things happen to you and how you overcome those?
Okay, so the first thing that happened to me that I didn't know had anything to do with perimenopause until later on was I developed lockjaw or TMJ. So for about a year, I couldn't open my jaw all the way, and I couldn't even really eat properly. So nutrition and everything was took a hit. And my dentist told me that either I was going to have surgery to open it up a little bit more, or that I would just have to live with not opening my mouth up all the way for the rest of my life. And I thought, well, that's crazy. And then I found out that things like lockjaw, frozen shoulder, deep hip aches are all typical of perimenopausal symptoms, even the ones that people don't talk about. People know about hot flashes and brain fog, sleeplessness, and so forth, but they don't attribute these things to menopause. For me, the heart palpitations, well, that was scary. I had a racing heart. Imagine you're like, oh my God. And me, I don't worry. But after like 3 or 4 days, my heart didn't slow down even when I slept. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. But first, understanding that it was like a common symptom just takes a little bit of a level off of, how you're feeling. So you can take away fueling the symptoms with your fear. So the heart palpitations, and then my body was covered in like a stress related itchy skin rash that left red marks all over me.
Wow.
And I know that that happens to people. I heard other friends saying, I don't know what's wrong with me. And then when it happened to me, I was like, it's the perimenopause. So those were like two of the symptoms that really woke me up to, oh my gosh, like what is happening? I need to get a handle on this, learn how to fix it, learn how to mitigate this, and then share that. Because I don't want other women to be scared or to be weakened and not have at least the basic knowledge of what's happening to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you do bring a fresh perspective about menopause. So tell us a bit more about that. So how do you see things differently?
Well, I think one of the main ways that I see menopause differently from a lot of the conventional wisdom or other people that speak about it, because now people are starting to come out with it more, which is wonderful. But what I really decided to emphasize in my coaching and what I put out there is that menopause is really an opportunity. Now, I think that might sound a little crazy because it's really a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
A lot of it is. But at the same time that you're going through that, it's an opportunity to reflect on how your life has been up until that point and really what you want it to look like in the future. So I found that a lot of women get to this stage in life, and not for everyone, but for a lot of women who have been taking care of their children for, let's say the better part of 2 decades, managing a family, all the things that us women, we do it all and we multitask for decades. And then there were things for me that were left untouched inside my soul, things I wanted to do. And I found that other women were reaching this phase and thinking, it's too late for me. I can't make that dream happen. It's not going to happen. And I think part of that is also that we have to fuel our body, move different, eat differently, think differently, and have other practices like meditation and other spiritual practices to help us get through that transition and into the next phase with strength, the mental strength and the physical strength. So I want to teach women, I do coach women on how they need to eat because it's different now. You have a different body. And I also want to say that I really strongly dislike this idea that some women will say, get back your pre-menopause body. Well, you wouldn't tell a 16-year-old girl to go back to her 12-year-old, 11-year-old prepubescent body, and it would be impossible. And I want women to just don't even think about what your body was like before. And now we're going for strong and not skinny. We're going for putting on muscle so we don't fall and break a hip and then die, you know. And we have to eat way more protein, and that's a lot harder than you think. So, one of the things that I coach on is tracking your macronutrients, specifically protein. I don't like tracking all the calories and everything, it gets too tedious. But looking after your protein and tracking it to make sure you're really getting enough is one of the huge hurdles that I think people don't even realize is necessary. But that's super important along with weight bearing exercise, weight training. So if you've been working out, I always did Pilates and yoga, and that's great, but you need to, especially during perimenopause and beyond, you need to work out with weights. You need weight resistant exercise. Otherwise, your bones won't be strong enough and you won't be able to carry yourself into the next phase and to see your dreams come true. Like, I see the body as a vehicle for the soul. And if you want your soul to be able to go forth and make your dreams come true, well, it can't do that if you're sitting on the couch and you can't move around. You can't stand
Yeah.
tall in your power if you can't stand up straight and if your body hurts. So we have to kind of do all the things at once.
I love it. And oh my gosh, you're ta honestly so many good value you just gave us there. Thank you so much. I never
Thank
thought it's
you.
so important to eat proteins, to be honest. And the image, like everyone's like, okay, you're gonna put on like this is what I heard. You're gonna put on weight. You're gonna put on weight and you just have to say, okay, this is my new body. But maybe you don't want to put that much on weight because you're not gonna be comfortable and confident anymore. So thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
that. So what's I would say most common struggle that your clients are struggling with? Is it a mindset? What is it actually? Or is it a mix of more?
I think the biggest struggles are a combination of, and I work with high achieving women. So these are women who don't have time to mess about. They're super busy, whether it's a career, causes, family. And I think that part of it is that their progress gets stalled by brain fog, by sleeplessness. The disruption to our sleep uh, really has a negative effect on your ability to do your best work during the
Right.
waking hours. So I think that getting a handle on sleep and sleep hygiene and protocol is very important and can go a long way. So I think the brain fog is a huge, big problem. I think one of the issues that I hear all the time, and I experience this for myself, is that a big drop in your libido, a big drop in the sex drive. And
Right.
for me, not too much information, but I had a very healthy, robust sex drive, maybe even stronger than your average woman. And when my hormones started going all over the place, it took like a straight nosedive, almost disappeared. And I know that women have expressed to me, they get scared. They're like, oh my gosh, my desire is gone. If we're going to live another 40 years potentially, you really want to get that shored up. So there are things you can do, between nutrition, supplementation, hormone therapy, and spiritual practices, and also living and fulfilling what is inside your heart will help you bring back your vital life force, which I think is always really intrinsically connected with how your sex drive is. It's kind of like an overall energy for life. So if your sex drive is down, that probably means everything's a little bit down. So women get frightened about that. I hear that quite a bit. Um, I also think another really interesting thing is that some people feel like um, they can't move forth in the direction that they want to for that second part of their life. They either feel stagnant in a relationship, a career path, and they don't feel empowered to like change it all up, to follow their instinct. So that's another thing that I coach
Yeah.
on, and some of that comes through the what I call spiritual practices, meditation, um, tapping, affirmations, all these kinds of things that really work as a layer to give you the foundation to be able to do what it is that you really desire to do.
That's phenomenal. Wow. So both topics that you just talked about, they are so meaningful. I can't even imagine how someone is feeling, especially from a sex appeal. It's so important and crucial in our life. And then feeling like lost and not having a purpose, because you do have to kind of rediscover who you are now, from what I'm
Yes.
hearing. And that's the crucial thing I see. And your magic, it's incredible. So your holistic approach and all the methods, and what's really beautiful about everything you do, I think, is that you've been through it. So actually, you're just helping your clients now to you guide them through your own experience and everything that worked for you. Tell me more about the topping. Tell me more about those holistic approaches because those ones are the juicy ones.
Well, I know that you know about tapping and you've experienced that. And some people are, a little bit hesitant to buy into the power of that. But I think at this point, everybody knows that meditation is good for you. And a lot of people, they don't want to start because they think they're not going to be successful. It's going to take too long. So I really like to share with people, share with women, little practices, a short little tapping with, like when I work with somebody, I will create the tapping script or an affirmations to add into it that are specific to them. So if whatever they're struggling with or whatever they're looking to open up to, I use that very specifically. Meditation, there's a lot of ways to approach it. So the best way is the way that you're going to stick with. But I have found I've been meditating. I started to try to meditate. I say try in the beginning, like 25 years ago, maybe even a bit more. And now I've just do about 20 minutes of meditation a day, and that's enough. And I will sometimes choose a guided meditation that is specific to what I want to feel that day. And that makes it easy. So if somebody's looking to do meditation, but they haven't before, that's a really good route. Go on YouTube and find Dr. Joe Dispenza and find a 20-minute gratitude meditation. And I have found for me personally, now that I've been doing it for so long and for the last few years meditating almost every day,
Wow, well done you.
it's well, it's not been easy, but it was a habit that I created and it took a while. And this is why now I want to distill it and share it with people so they don't have to take 20 years to get it right. But it's really allowed me to quiet down all the noise that was keeping me from being my best self. And it allows me to tap into like my higher self, if you will. It allows me to hear what I really need to hear, whether it's my own best, highest self, talking to myself, or if you want to believe you're hearing from the divine, from God, spirit, whatever that means to you. Only when you go quiet for long enough that everything else melts away that you can really hear that. And once you do, it's just mind blowing.
Exactly.
So, right?
L- Like you said, then for someone who's listening now and is watching us, if it's the first time when you go into this journey, like meditation or any type of spirituality or holistic approach, it doesn't need to be 20 minutes of meditation from the beginning. This is what I've been
Right.
doing with my, I was like, okay, start with 5 minutes and then you can
Yes.
move to 10 minutes, and the
Yes.
consistency, it's the key. This is
Yes.
what's
And it
my
makes it
experience.
easier. Yes. I agree with that. I was going to say 5 minutes is enough. And if that's hard for you, just do it until it gets a little easier and just bump it up in increments of like 1 minute at a time.
Absolutely. Yes. I know you talk a lot about resilience as well. Tell us more about that and how this, it's so important in this journey with the menopause as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's, you mentioned earlier that, I'm in it myself, so I can relate to what I'm coaching. Now, I'm just on the other side of a lot of the crux of it. But, oh, I, um, I think that, what I can bring since I'm right there, like I'm just like maybe 10 steps ahead of a lot of the women that I coach in this journey. But I have developed this real ironclad kind of resilience for myself so that, like, let's just say in my personal life right now, stuff is on fire, or there's things going on in life. And this is true for everyone right now, politically, the economy, everything, everything.
Yeah.
And if you have the tools and a routine and a protocol that you are strengthening your mind, body, and spirit regularly, then you develop a thicker skin, a resilience, a strong mindset where when I used to get like bowled over by things emotionally, even in the crux of feeling like the hormonal, craziness that you go through in perimenopause, that I was still able to stay calm. I still was, and I've just developed, this level of resilience in the last couple of years. But now, whatever is going on, I feel like I'm able to still keep my goals in sight, to still stay like on a high vibrational level, if you will, rather than indulging in the bad, mood or sitting in a place of darkness, which is fine. I'm not saying that we shouldn't feel the feels when we're going through it, but I think resilience is the difference between staying down there and letting it waylay your plans and visiting the dark side and going, okay, that's enough now. Bring myself back up. What are the tools that I have at my disposal to keep me strong in the storm? So, meditation, journaling, tapping, gratitude, all these little things are the layers. Exercising, moving your body, making sure you nourish your body with the right things. Because if you feel bad and you eat badly, you're just going to go further down that path. But if you want to keep moving through it, it's the daily, consistent little habits and the things that you do. Over time, you build up a strong resilience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for everything you just shared there. It's just so easy for whoever is watching and listening. They can start doing those things. So that's phenomenal. Also,
Yes.
Marlene, I know you're all about keep it simple, keep it easy, and really help others. Talk with us a bit more about the journal. I know you created a journal and a few other bits and bobs. Tell us more about that, please.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Well, I found myself on the beginning of this journey of really trying to like nail the meditation and the gratitude and to journal and to track my protein and to track my sleep and my moods so that I could assess where the gaps were or where I could make, tweaks and adjustments to get where I wanted to go. So I would journal on my computer. I would do gratitude maybe in my head or jot it down somewhere. I had a separate day timer for my to-do list, my most important task for the day. And I thought this is so inefficient. And I was going all over the place. It was making me feel, like I wanted to do, but it was crazy. And so really almost for myself, I originally created, look, I have a copy right here. So it's a Menopause Mastery Journal and Tracker. I know that's not super clear,
Woohoo!
but thank you.
Sounds so
So
cool.
it's super cool. And really, this could be, it doesn't have to be for menopause, except that in the back, I created a bunch of guides about protein, exercise, natural solutions to the symptoms, and all kinds of menopause specific information. But inside the journal, I'll just flash you real quick. I mean, it's got all my writing on it, and I don't even fill it out every day. But
Come a
what
bit
it
closer
has,
to the camera so we can see it.
oh,
Show us, show us, show
okay,
us.
okay. So can
Okay,
you
yeah,
see?
I can see the daily wellness in there.
Yes.
Aha. Okay.
So you can see I don't even fill out everything exactly every day because it's not about perfection. But what this has is, first of all, no dates because I hate when there's like a pre-dated journal and you have to skip the page because you're not on the date. I was like, no anxiety over the date. So it has a place to put what you're grateful for, your intentions for the day, your most important tasks, right? There's a section to write down your movement and exercise, your meals and snacks. I really only write down like the protein or just a generalized mental health habits. And on the bottom, you have like where you track your, I know it's a little bit blurry on the camera there. I don't know why, because it's my
That's
background, I
okay.
think.
Don't worry,
Okay,
start
so
over.
anyway, you track how you feel your mood and energy upon waking and when you go to bed at night, and you have a total, and then you add a running total up, and at the back it gives you, based on your score, how you can improve, whether it's your sleep or your mood or whatever it is. And it has a little section for today's wins, because I think we all are very conscious of what we don't get done, but we often don't celebrate the things that we are successful at on a daily basis. So the gratitude, the wins, but also what you have to do. And then the second page is blank, and it's for journaling and whatever stream of consciousness. And really, I've learned you only need to journal for like 5 minutes, and you only need to meditate for a few minutes. So I wake up, I get on this book, I do my thing, and then it's all done. And I still use it like a to-do list. So I decided to create this for myself, and I have been using it as if I bought it off of somebody else, like diligently for at least 9 months. And I have seen a huge improvement in my habits, because when you write it down and you track it, you're faced with it. You're faced with the reality of what you're really doing versus what you think you're doing. And therefore, you're able to figure out where you need to do more or where you're doing less.
I love
So
it.
all about the tracking in order to improve.
Yeah, and I love the I love it. You created something really, really good, especially because like you said, once you're writing it, that's first of all, it's like an accountability body for you.
Yes,
Secondly, you can choose and exactly what do you want to work on based on everything that you can see the patterns in there. And I love
yes,
how you integrated that positivity because it's so important. And the mental load, oh my gosh, once you start writing it just for 5 minutes, it's like you give a little break to your brain. So that's
you do.
phenomenal.
Yes, yes. And the gratitude is really the gateway to achieving what you want and receiving what you want. And I've seen that. And so making yourself write down 3 things you're grateful for in the morning. I also, in my head at night when I'm in bed, when I lay down, I say 3 things I'm grateful for. And once you create that habit, it just opens you up to receive more abundance from the universe, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. So how can people can get this journal? How can they get it?
So easy. So it's on Amazon, and I believe my links are in the information below. I also thought to gift somebody a free copy of the journal that's in the audience of the talk. So if you're here, I will figure out how to pick the name of somebody who's in attendance and send them a free copy. And it's 3 months, by the way. It's good for 3 months. So you can really get some momentum going when you use it. But it's been such an incredibly valuable tool for me.
That's fantastic. So what I will say,
Yeah.
whoever is watching, you're gonna have her code here. So they will be able to contact you directly on Facebook if they scan the QR code. So let's
Perfect.
do this. So ask a question, and whoever answers first, this is your winner. This is who you're gonna give the journal. Or what do you want to do? Do you want them to send you a specific word, or do you want them to ask a question? I think that would be really good. And based on what they're saying, then you can choose who's the winner.
Sure, we could do that. Let me think of what a good question will be. Maybe it would be, are you
Ready?
looking to, yeah. Oh. Are you ready to or looking to take your life and your journey to the next level, even during menopause, and use that as a transition? So, are you ready to transition through menopause into a next big, beautiful, fulfilling stage?
Love it. Love it. So go text and message Marlene, and whoever she feels like is the winner based on your answers, then she will give the journal for free. Thank you so
Yes.
much for sharing all those lovely, lovely, lovely tips and strategies and methods, and for being so vulnerable and sharing your story. So everything
Oh,
you do,
thank
it's
you.
amazing. And thank you so much for being there and supporting everyone who goes through this because I'm not there yet, but I do have so many ladies in my world that they are facing this, and it's very, very difficult if they don't know where to go next and what to do next.
Right.
So you are
Yeah.
there. What's the
Yes. Yes.
can you just leave us with the final message, or what's the like a quote or anything you want to leave the audience with?
Well, I would say that I would just like to implore any woman who is watching this or who is going through this to really assess what it is she really wants to see herself doing in the future. And then to think about, does she have the tools? Is she resilient? Is she doing all the right things to take her body, mind, and spirit to that beautiful perceived future self, that version of herself? And just to realize that and encourage her to actually go for it, to actually do it, to actually believe that she can still achieve whatever it is that she's dreamed of on the other side of this, that it's more than possible, that actually we women in that stage of life, with some things having fallen away responsibility wise, potentially not for everyone, but that we really can be our most powerful, our most free to explore, and our strongest. We can be our physically, mentally, and spiritually strongest version of ourselves on the other side. So that I want all women to know that and to feel like they can go forth in that direction.
Absolutely phenomenal. This is brilliant. Thank you so much. And I know you're always saying that this is a new chapter. See this menopause
Yes.
as a new chapter. So
Yes.
that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for everything you shared. Thank you. And everyone
Thank
who
you,
wants to connect
Roxana.
with her, you're more than welcome. This is all from today and keep on shining. Thank you.
Yes.